Three, two, one. Hey everybody, Will Gully here with the Recruiting Lounge. Wanted to take a minute and talk to you a little bit about Nike and Adidas and their participation in the NIL space. Last week, I'm sure you read about Nike and the athletes that they've signed on. Iowa State's Caitlin Clark, Bronny James kind of highlighted it. They also got Stanford women's athlete Haley Jones, and they also got another high school student athlete, a woman out of Sierra Canyon, Juju Watkins, who's making some splashes down in Southern California. But what I wanted to talk to you, it's not about the student athletes that they've brought into their operation or organization. I want to talk a little bit more about the strategic thought behind Adidas and Nike signing these student athletes. Nike just signed 2 with high school student athletes and 2 college student athletes. And make note of who they signed on. They signed on 3 women student athletes and 1 Bronny James, male student athlete in high school. Now, obviously, Bronny has ties to Nike through his father, LeBron, but the strategic initiative here is what I really want to break down a little bit for you. So, both organizations see NIL as an opportunity to get connected with student athletes before they go pro. All right, so that's one. Both organizations see connecting with the student athletes before they go pro, connecting with them while they're still amateurs, is a way to endear themselves with their amateur audience early on. Okay, so that's 2. Subsequent to that, both programs have these ambassador organizations where they have student athletes go to different locations. They train and educate them on branding. They train and educate them on their organization, and then they also talk to them a little bit about how they can profit off of their interactions with Nike and with Adidas. So, really quick, the target audience for both these organizations is getting younger and younger. Both organizations have been endeared inside college athletic programs for years and are competing to be the logo that are on jerseys for these colleges. When you sign a student athlete into your organization, a notable student athlete into your organization, you are then saying, hey, school, these student athletes who have these followers are engaged with our brands, and it makes Nike and Adidas more appealing to a school long term. Secondly, in terms of connecting with the student athletes, that what they're trying to do is get that 18 to 25 market that's about to be buying gear, buying clothes. They want to be cool, they want to be hip, they want to be young, they want to be fresh, they want to be associated with people that are coming up in those types of in that demographic. So that's that piece of the puzzle. Now let me kind of pivot a little bit and talk to you from a school perspective. Right, schools are leaning heavily on partners to engage in the NIL space. I'll say it again, schools are leaning heavily on their partners to engage in the NIL space. Now, what does that mean? Okay, for Adidas and for Nike, that means, hey, we're not going to, donate a bunch of money to your school collective. That's not the business we're into. We're not going to go to a prospective student athlete, a recruitable student athlete, and say, if you go to this school, you will get X amount of gear or X amount of dollars for wearing our gear. That's not the business that they're in. They're going and saying, okay, we have a student athlete in Southern California. We know that this student athlete is going to likely play in Southern California. We want to be more in that target audience. How can we leverage the student athlete and their personality, their brand? How can we leverage them to get into this marketplace? I'm going to sign these student athletes up as ambassadors. So if I'm Nike and Juju Watkins is coming up, Nike has the relationship with Adidas and, has the relationship with USC and has a relationship with UCLA through the Jordan brand. It makes a lot of sense for us to connect with Juju Watkins and sign her up early. When she then goes to the school, she's already a Nike ambassador. UCLA, USC, their contracts are up for renegotiation, and here we've got Juju Watkins here at your school who's a Nike ambassador. Like, let's re-up this agreement. Adidas, similarly, they don't have as many schools signed on, but similarly, they've gone out and said, hey, 2 students from each of your school, we want to invite them to be campus brand ambassadors for Adidas. They have an ambassador program. And what that means is we're going to fly people out to New York. We're going to fly people down south to Miami. We're going to do photo shoots with them of them wearing branded apparel, school branded apparel. So if you're Louisville and you're an Adidas school, you have, or Nebraska, an Adidas school, you go down and you've got the freshest red and white shoes, clothes. They do a photo shoot with you, and you can use that content to go on social media platforms. But very similarly, Adidas is going to these schools and saying, hey, we've got actually cool gear that your current student athletes are comfortable wearing, they like wearing. We're treating them with respect. We're getting them these opportunities to meet with so-and-so people and learn about branding and marketing and social media. We're putting them in a room so they can have conversations with other student athletes that are like them. We're going to wine and dine them while they're out here. They're a part of the Adidas family. And so when your agreement is up, school, take that into consideration, what we're doing here. And know that we will continue to support the student athletes while they're on your campus. So they're putting themselves in a position to say, in the NIL space, we can help schools by signing on student athletes as ambassadors and providing them resources and education, and that School A, School B should help you in the NIL space. Hopefully that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, feel free to to slide a question or a comment into the video, into the section down low. I'm happy to answer any more questions or go a little bit deeper to anyone that wants to hear more. And with that, I'll leave you with this. May your days be filled with moments of joy, love, grace, and mercy. Have a good one.